It's Hacker.
Talk about a fried egg. I lasted about 5 minutes out there. I said, to heck with this. I'll do this in the morning. And I don't have any inside information. The lady that did it, she got in there. She made it happen.
And he doesn't shy away from opinion.
And I do enjoy drinking cold beer at ballparks. So if that makes me a baseball fan, then I'm a diehard baseball fan.
It's Hacker After Dark on 1010XL.
And a very good Tuesday evening to you, Jacksonville. It is Hacker After Dark, 1010XL, 92.5 FM with Dylan Denmark. The Hacker Ryan Green with you, Jacksonville. We're glad you're with us here on a Tuesday evening. And I'm not going to bury the lead. We are absolutely jam-packed tonight on a Tuesday night edition. I don't really even know if there's enough time to get to everything that I want to get to over the next 2 hours, but we will certainly try. I've been telling you guys for a while now that I wanted to give you some insights into some of the draft picks the Jaguars had over the weekend. Well, I think tonight we're going to accomplish that because we have not one, not two, but three coaches of 3 of the 9 draft picks joining us here on Hacker After Dark. Coming up in about 30 minutes or so, John Summerall is the head coach of Tulane. Obviously, that means he coached third-round pick Caleb Ransaw last year. But John Summerall was also the coach at Troy for the 2 previous seasons. Caleb Ransaw was with him at Troy as well, came with him to Tulane. So obviously, Summerall's got a very unique perspective on Caleb Ransaw, and I didn't realize this until we got into the conversation, but John Summerall coached with Liam Cohen at Kentucky and is actually pretty good buddies with Liam Cohen, and we'll tell you all about that. So the head coach of Tulane, John Summerall, talking about Caleb Ransaw and a little Liam Cohen. That comes up in about 30 minutes. We will go to Blacksburg, Virginia later on in the program. Brent Pry, the head coach of the Virginia Tech Hokies, will join us tonight. Basal Tootin, the running back from Virginia Tech. We will have head coach Brent Pry of the Hokies on to talk about Tootin, the 4th-round running back who the Jaguars took this past weekend. And we will also head to Syracuse. The offensive coordinator for Syracuse is Jeff Nixon. He's also the running backs coach. That means we're going to talk about LaQuint Allen, the 7th-round pick out of Syracuse. So LaQuint Allen, Caleb Ransaw, Basal Tootin. We will have college either head coaches or coordinators for those 3 draft picks joining us tonight here on Hacker After Dark. Right out of the gates coming up here in less than 15 minutes. We're also going to have Michael Silver of The Athletic. It was released this morning. If you have not read the piece, and it's a pretty long piece, to be honest with you. It'll take you a good 5 or 10 minutes, but it's so worth it. Michael Silver of The Athletic was in the war room all weekend with the Jacksonville Jaguars, right alongside James Gladstone, right alongside Liam Cohen, Tony Baselli, the coordinators, everybody. He was granted almost unprecedented access to the Jaguar war room. He had a whole write-up on it on The Athletic this morning. I thought it was absolutely spectacular, and we're going to have Michael Silver of The Athletic joining us coming up here in less than 15 minutes to talk about his experience from the Travis Hunter trade on Thursday night to the trading of picks on Friday to the Jumbo Shrimp shooting off fireworks, which was a little interesting Friday night around the Miller Electric Center, and then everything that transpired on Saturday. It was some pretty interesting stuff. So Michael Silver of The Athletic joins us coming up in less than 15 minutes. We're with you till 10 o'clock. We're absolutely loaded. I will tell you right off the bat, busy night of NBA playoff games. Indiana trying to close out Milwaukee tonight. Remember, the Bucks are without Damian Lillard. He's out for the year with a torn Achilles. Indiana leads this series 3-1. They lead Milwaukee 79-75. 10.5 to go in the 4th quarter. Likewise, the Knicks trying to close out the Pistons at Madison Square Garden. Knicks lead that series 3-1. Detroit, an early 17-14 lead. About 2 minutes to go in the 1st quarter. Celtics will try to close out the Orlando Magic at 8:30 tonight. That game is on NBA TV. That series is Boston 3, Orlando 1. Orlando has to win tonight to keep their season alive. We will keep you updated on all the NBA playoff action. But it's going to be almost all Jaguars all the time tonight, every night here on Hacker After Dark. we do kick it off with a big deal of the night and Dylan Denmark. Let's do that right now.
Time now for the big deal of the night.
What's the big deal?
What is the big deal?
No big deal. It is a big deal.
On Hacker After Dark.
So, like I bring on out-of-market guests pretty frequently here on Hacker After Dark, I also go on interviews outside markets that are interested in what the Jaguars are doing. And I did a couple of those interviews today, and I did a couple yesterday as well. And one thing that is beginning to appear very apparent to me is the Jaguars have a couple of guys that people are interested in talking about on a national basis. Trevor Lawrence was that guy, was pretty much that only guy for a while. And then Brian Thomas Jr. came along last year, and then he became a national figure. Now Travis Hunter is certainly a guy that's being asked about and talked about nationally. In fact, he has the best rookie jersey sales so far since draft weekend. Liam Cohen, I think a little bit, is being talked about nationally. But I got to tell you, man, I was asked more today about general manager James Gladstone than I was anybody else. Do the Jaguars have a rising star in James Gladstone? Quirky. I got a couple of questions about that. The intangibly rich ecosystem stuff. I got some questions about that. What is he doing trading a first-round pick in 2026? I got some questions about that. He's only 34. But you add all that up, and all of those questions were coming from national people outside of Jacksonville, and they were focused on James Gladstone. Could he be kind of the rising star? Now, being a general manager, now the draft season is over, will he kind of go into the background? I think he would probably prefer to go into the background. Most GMs do when it's not draft season or free agent season. He's not going to be at the forefront as much. But I was thinking about that when I was doing some of these interviews. For the last couple of years, it's only been questions about Trevor Lawrence because that's the only guy that was worth talking about nationally, or at least that's what I was told from my colleagues outside of Jacksonville. Then a sprinkling of Brian Thomas Jr. last year. Now Travis Hunter has absolutely entered that conversation. I do get questions about Liam Cohen, but I get a lot of questions about James Gladstone. And I think of all the guys between Cohen, even Baselli, Gladstone, heck, maybe even Travis Hunter, at least for the here and now, the last couple of days I've gotten more Gladstone talk than I have anybody else, at least in the interviews that I've done outside the Jacksonville area, which I found interesting. I think James Gladstone's a fascinating guy. I learn something new every time I listen to him. I don't understand half of what he says, but I'm enthralled by it. I'm interested by it. And I'm not the only one, apparently, because stuff he says is picking up traction. He's got his own little nickname already with the Pat McAfee crew. I mean, the guy's getting out there. And if this trade works, and if this Travis Hunter thing works, that'll just build and build and build the reputation of James Gladstone and Liam Cohen, for that matter. It's a 1-2 combo. They're linked at the hip. It's Cohen and Gladstone. It's Gladstone and Cohen. And I've told you guys this the entire offseason. Whether it gets the Jaguars recognition outside of Jacksonville or not is secondary. I want them to win games in the fall. But there is no doubt before we have gotten to the fall that people are interested in what's going on here in Jacksonville, much more so than they have been in a few years at least. And they're more interested because of what James Gladstone and Liam Cohen have done this offseason here with the Jacksonville Jaguars. One of the most interesting pieces that I've read in a long time came from Michael Silver, who's been covering the NFL for years. I mean, you can go back to the days, I think, Yahoo, NFL Network, I think the San Francisco Chronicle back in the day. He's with The Athletic now, does an absolutely terrific job. He was given access to the Jaguar war room the entire weekend. If you read the story, I'm sure you enjoyed it as much as I did. If you have not read the story and you are a subscriber to The Athletic, go read it. And I'm pretty sure you don't even need to be a subscriber to read this, because I had buddies telling me today you just make a temporary login with the New York Times, and they were able to read it. Fascinating story. Good stuff by Michael Silver. He joins me next to talk about his Thursday, Friday, and Saturday spent at the Miller Electric Center, right alongside James Gladstone, right alongside Liam Cohen, right alongside Tony Baselli, and the rest of the Jaguar higher-ups. Michael Silver of The Athletic, talking Jaguar draft weekend. Travis Hunter trade and more is next on a Tuesday night here in Northeast Florida. We're glad you're with us. Hacker After Dark till 10 o'clock, 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
Dan Hicken and Jeff Prosser.
If I may, you two make an adorable couple.
Oh, no, we're not. No. We're not blah, blah, blah. I never lie.
Mornings on 1010XL.
Baloo here for Smunez Vision. Why Smunez Vision? Well, I've been with Dr. Neil Smunez now since I got back to Jacksonville in 2006. 37 years of experience he has. Smunez Vision is a family organization that focuses on personal high-quality medical and surgical eye care. Dr. Catherine Smunez is fellowship trained in cornea and cataract surgery and all refractive surgery. Combined, that's 30 years plus in laser eye surgery. Visit SmunezVision.com today. Here you can see.
Bueller. Stay cooler with Bueller.
Jason, I don't see how a new air conditioner is going to work out for me.
Well, you like air conditioning, right?
Oh, yeah, totally. But a new air conditioner could be expensive.
Well, not if you...
to save up the money, I probably have to give up my extra hot skim latte every morning. Now I fall asleep during a staff meeting, get volunteered for the summer picnic committee, and end up sitting in the dunk tank all afternoon getting water up my nose.
Okay, look at it this way. Put on these sunglasses. Whoa. Bueller Air and Plumbing puts in a new AC. We hook you up with affordable financing, and you stay cool and comfortable for just $149 a month. Cool?
Cool. I see it now.
Life can be hard on your budget. If you suffer through the heat because of a broken AC you could totally afford to replace, you could visit.
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Visit BuellerAir.com.
Another checkup? Why are so many people getting new puppies?
Dr. Kim's veterinary office is littered with cuteness.
We are booked solid for weeks, but who can say no to a puppy, right? Oh, who's your good boy? Oh, who's what? Oh,
She needs to find extra vet techs to get those pups some extra love.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job on Indeed, candidates can find it easier, so you can hire easier. Redeem your $75 credit at Indeed.com/credit. Terms and conditions apply.
Hacker here, taking you back exactly 1 year this week. I was only 9 weeks into Awaken 180 and had already dropped 54 pounds. Seriously, that's like shedding a first grader in just over 2 months. That's wild, right? Fast forward to today, 2 months into my maintenance, and I'm still down over 115 pounds. Not a pound put back on. It's like Awaken 180 gave my weight a permanent eviction notice. Now listen up. We all want to have goals, but sometimes they seem to be far-fetched. This one won't be. Dropping 40 pounds by the 4th with Awaken 180. It's doable when you have a proven program with an excellent coach by your side. Weekly weight loss, enjoying the ride, and reaching your goal. We all did it. No reason you can't. Set your goal, make the call, and reach 40 by the 4th with the solution for weight loss. Online at awaken180weightloss.com or call 844-346-1800.
The judge swings the gavel and I pound the hammer. I'm not judging, just hammering. Hammer Time with Hayes Carlyon, weekdays on The Frangie Show.
Hammer Time with Hayes, driven by Southside Kia on 1010XL. If you're at home on the range, tee it up with the Edwin Watts Golf Hour. Tour news, local updates, and the latest gear. The Edwin Watts Golf Hour. Saturday morning at 10 on 1010XL.
So, you finally have some time to yourself. Even if it is just the car ride home, it's you time. And look at you. Do not disturb set before you even got in the car? Impressive. you've earned this moment to just chill and drive. This break is brought to you by Target Zero and the Florida Department of Transportation.
This is your Mad Dad's Update with Chapter President Donald Ford. In our effort to curb crime, drugs, and violence during the summer months, we are offering Friday Night Lights. It has already started and will be going until school starts back. It is every Friday night from 6:30 to 9:30 at the Blacktop, 5732 Normandy Boulevard, and behind the Potter's House Christian Academy. We manage 3 basketball courts. You are not running on the cement. We have covering on each court. The Lakers, the Magic, and the Heat. Ages 15 to 40 years old. This will give them something to do other than selling drugs and getting into trouble. We have monitors there giving leadership. We have to wake up, stand up, and speak up. Hit me on Facebook and tell me what you think. Or MattDadJacksonville.com.
Beat the spring cleaning rush with big savings and priority booking by calling our heroes at Zero Res. This month, get Zero Resified from Jacksonville's #1 carpet cleaner. You'll get 25% off all cleaning services. That's right, 25% off. Check out 8,000 raving customer reviews if you don't believe me online. Call them, 904-287-5727, or visit their website, ZeroResJacksonville.com. Zero Res, spell it forwards or backwards. It's the right way to clean.
Zero Res. You've got a lot on your plate. The last thing you need is car trouble. At Maxie's Mechanics, we help you keep your cars, trucks, and SUVs running safely. Visit MaxieAutoRepair.com today for honest service, reliable repairs, and peace of mind for you and your family.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, another great guest on the Checkmate Coatings phone line.
Hello.
Your floor's missing piece.
Back here on 1010XL at 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville, your home for the Jacksonville Jaguars, and we are glad you are with us. The Jaguar draft in the rearview mirror, 9 draft picks in total, including the bombshell trade on Thursday that landed them Heisman Trophy winner Travis Hunter. How did all that stuff come together? Well, The Athletic and Michael Silver was given unprecedented access. He wrote the story. He was in the war room for everything that transpired. The story came out earlier this morning. Jaguar fans, it is fantastic. And Michael Silver joins us tonight here on 1010XL. Michael, how you doing?
I'm great, man. How are you?
Hey, Michael, we're good. I talked to you about this off air. Absolutely incredible. Now, you have written many, many incredible pieces over the years. That's why you're so good at what you do, and some of which has actually happened before here in Jacksonville. But I got to tell you, man, maybe it's the newness of Cohen and Gladstone and Baselli and this regime, but I was locked into this story on The Athletic this morning. It was absolutely spectacular.
I really appreciate it. And yeah, I was very fortunate to get the trust and access that I did, and a show broke out. We had literal fireworks, as people will see in the story, and certainly figurative with the awesome move up on Thursday, and then really some cool real-time intrigue on Friday with the 3rd round. And I got to see young James Gladstone, thrown into the fire and stay cool. It was really interesting. There were a couple players that went right before they were due to pick at 70. There were a couple of prospective trades. He made a quick decision to trade down. And then as they got closer to 88 with 2 players they really loved, they made the on-the-clock trade back up and got both of them. And, he handled it really, really well. And, time will tell if these players are actually really good, but they're definitely the type of players that these guys, Gladstone and Liam Cohen and Tony Baselli, are seeking.
You can check out Michael Silver's story on the Jaguars draft this past weekend. He was in the war room. You can check it out at The Athletic. It broke earlier this morning. All right, so let's begin with, first off, the access you were given. What does it say about a 34-year-old GM a 39-year-old head coach, Tony Baselli, his first year as EVP of football operations, that they would allow access like that. To me, that was very, very interesting.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, I have been in war rooms before, and so I have actually, broken through that wall a bunch of times with the St. Louis Rams, the LA Rams, and once I was in, Dave Caldwell let me in just for the pick, basically. But when Dante Fowler was drafted, I was in there for a while. I kind of got some virtual access to the Jags draft during the COVID year as well. So, because I have been able to do it before, I feel like it's possible. As far as why the Jags would let me do it, other than the fact that I am incredibly charming and awesome. But no, listen, I think they have a story to tell and they're excited about it. And it's important, I know, to Tony Baselli that there's a message being sent that we're not the same, the same franchise that you've seen struggle, for a while now. And remember Tony Baselli, the audacity of that team. I remember because I covered those early Jags teams a lot, and they were an expansion team. He was their first pick ever, the second overall pick in 1995. They had young Mark Brunell, bunch of really good players. Tom Coughlin making crazy rules like, no sunglasses on the sidelines, etc. And nobody expected an expansion team to make noise, and they were in the AFC Championship game year 2, obviously hosted it 3 years later as the number 1 seed. So there was an audacity to those early Jags teams, and I think Tony is trying to kind of bring that back. Like, we're bold, we're not, bowing down to anyone, we're going out and getting it. And so obviously, listen, Travis Hunter is an incredible player. They wanted him badly, but it also aligned with the statement they wanted to make. And whether they had done that or not, I think it was a really cool story that they were willing to have told. But obviously, when you go up and make the move that's the talk of the draft, it's even cooler.
Michael, we encourage people to go to the website, The Athletic, and check out the story. When it comes to Thursday night and the trade up for Travis Hunter, you were in the room when everything was going crazy, I would imagine. What were some of your biggest takeaways that you wrote about in the piece?
Well, I did write a piece that's also up on the site off of Thursday night that got really into that. We do address it in this piece too, but that was really cool because I knew that morning what was going on, and then I think as the day, as it got closer, there you started to hear some rumblings nationally that this might be happening, but it wasn't able to be a done deal because what the Browns said was, look, we're doing this once we're on the clock, but in the crazy event that Cam Ward is sitting there at 2 and he doesn't go 1, either the Titans don't take him or they trade out, we're going to take Cam Ward. So it was an unlikely scenario, but because of that, they really had to wait until it was official to deploy. Once that happened, it was a really exciting time. I say in the first of the 2 pieces that ran, Shad Khan looks at James Gladstone and the others in the room and says, let's make history. And, there was a real buzz in the room. They're obviously thrilled about the player, but it also said something, I think, to the fan base and to the rest of the NFL, like, hey, we're coming after it. James Gladstone came from a place with the Rams and Les Snead where they were willing to trade future first-round picks, creating an iconic mantra that I won't say on the air. But, I think there's somewhat of that, which is really cool. And, it was, it was a fun thing to see. One thing I've never seen, I've been in draft rooms before. I've had a lot of access. I have never seen both coordinators simultaneously celebrating. Usually one coordinator's like, yeah, and the other one's like kind of faking, smiling and thinking like, okay, you better go get me my side of the ball with the next pick, damn it. But in this case, you had both coordinators hugging and celebrating. It was pretty funny.
Michael Silver of The Athletic. One of the things I loved about the piece as well, Michael, was you kind of divvied it up. You broke it down into the different tiers that James Gladstone had on the draft board. And as crazy as it was trading up for Travis Hunter, and you alluded to it earlier, now go to Friday in round 3, and the Jaguars were wheeling and dealing then as well.
Yeah, Friday was really more exciting. I mean, obviously the Tuesday move is gonna, be the marquee move with a player like Travis Hunter. But in terms of actual intrigue in the draft room, you really couldn't beat Friday because you had two players they were really thinking hard about with that 70th pick, which was early in the third round as the draft played out. That was R.J. Harvey, Central Florida running back, and Ashton Gelati, who's a Louisville edge rusher. In the case of Gelati, he was so far above the next player on their board that that was really attractive. But R.J. Harvey, I know Liam Cohen was really excited about that idea to the point where they put his shirtless combine photo up on the screen at Liam's assistance. It was sitting there on one of the screens in the draft room for about 45 minutes. But they did also like Tootin, the running back. They ended up taking to the fourth round a lot. So I think that was one thing that made them feel a little better. But they missed out on both. Both were gone by 66. You had some trade scenarios that kind of cropped up and disappeared, both from the Lions and the Rams, who were believed to be targeting Gelati. Then the Lions reappeared, and on the clock, basically, they made a trade with the Lions that got them 2 future threes that moved them back substantially, and they were on the clock at 88. But as 88 approached, and they had 2 guys they really liked that they would have taken at 70 if push came to shove, either of whom, Caleb Branshaw and Wyatt Milam, they started thinking, wow, is there a way to get both? And then once again on the clock right after the 87th pick, they were able to trade back up and get consecutive picks, 88, 89, and get both of them. So it was really cool to see James Gladstone operating under fire, in his first draft and handling the clock and all the various scenarios and all the people he had working with him. And by the way, we literally had fireworks and other disturbances in the middle of it. So I think people will really like the story.
Yeah, Michael Silver of The Athletic. Michael, as we wrap up, that's one of the things I loved about the story is the Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp were playing a game and they got Friday family fireworks. So aerial bombs were going off above the Miller Electric Center while the Jaguars are drafting. I thought that was a terrific part of your story.
Yeah, my former Sports Illustrated colleague, Peter King, who is, as far as I know, might be the only other person who's been in war rooms. He knew that I was doing this, but I cannot wait till he reads the story and calls or texts me, because that's the kind of thing that will make Peter King so happy that the Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp are right up there in my lead. Just the name itself will give him pleasure. It really cool. I don't do instant draft analysis in terms of how good the player is. I think in Travis Hunter's case, we can all agree that it's pretty obvious. But in general, we don't really know, are these guys going to end up being really good players or not? But I do evaluate process. And in terms of how they wanted it to go and what they wanted to accomplish, they felt they nailed it. They had, James Gladstone had a little cheat sheet, laminated, a mini little card of 31 guys that he thought were real, favorable to him, depending on how the rounds went. And 8 of the 9 guys they drafted were on that list. They have this whole metric, Jaguars DNA, that they've created. And by that metric, they did better than any team in getting that. So, clearly it went the way they wanted procedurally and in terms of outcome so far. And there is a larger story to be told, with Tony Baselli and Liam Cohen and James Gladstone seemingly very aligned and trying to rebrand, reset the franchise. And, that's what initially attracted me to this in the first place. I think it's a really cool story. I think it's going to end up being a cool national story for a while. And I hope that Jags fans who've been through a lot and have been so supportive and patient get to reap the benefits of that for a while.
Michael, final question. Then I want to direct people to the website to check out your story from the Jaguar War Room. James Gladstone, you spent a lot of time with him over this past weekend. Obviously, a lot of people nationally are talking about him. Intangibly rich. I was funny. My mother texted me during the draft, and she asked me how the Jaguars were doing. And I said, well, they're looking for intangibly rich people to bring into their ecosystem. Her response was, have you been drinking? Because she didn't know what that meant, right? But that's what James Gladstone is. You spent a lot of time with the guy. What's your thought on him?
Well, he's not afraid to throw himself out there. He's not afraid to be bold. I love all that. He's one of these guys who's considered a rising star, so it's exciting. But I would say this, he also has self-awareness, and you could see in my story right up high, there's a quote from him where he says, I've been talking a lot, and then he says a lot, and it was good to actually, have some action. He knows that he has thrown himself out there and kind of, beat his chest a little bit. And so, he's not afraid to do that, but he also understands, like, hey, that's what's going on here, and I got to deliver.
All right, Michael, tell Jaguar fans here in Jacksonville, do they just head to theathletic.com? Will they find it there on the front page?
Yeah, you'll find it, I think, pretty easily at The Athletic. Obviously, our app, New York Times can get you there, too. So, anywhere on my social media feeds if I haven't blocked you, and if I have blocked you, find a way to apologize. I'm usually pretty good. I don't hold grudges. I just get visceral. So anyway, thank you so much for having me on, and we'll keep watching the new regime, but they're coming out hot.
He's one of the best. Michael Silver of The Athletic. Michael, again, terrific story. Thank you, pal. We'll talk again soon.
All right, thank you so much.
Michael Silver is one of my favorites, and that was a terrific piece. Again, if you go to The Athletic, you can check it out there. You can also check it out through the New York Times as well. I mean, being right there in the war room as the Travis Hunter situation is being discussed. You got that. You got on Friday the draft picks and the trades going on to try to trade up, to try to trade back. You acquire the 2/3 next year from Detroit. You still get the two guys that you want in Caleb Ransaw and Melheim, the tackle from West Virginia. Again, go check it out. Terrific article it's actually more than an article. It was an entire just rundown of the night's events from Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. And again, thank you to Michael Silver of The Athletic taking time out. In that piece, he talked about Caleb Ransaw from Tulane, the 3rd-round pick, number 88 overall. Caleb Ransaw also played at Troy. And both at Troy and at Tulane, Caleb Ransaw's head coach was John Sumrall. John Sumrall, who's one of the hot young coaches in college football. He's 32-9 in 3 years as a head coach at both Troy and Tulane. And I didn't realize this until, right before the conversation. John Sumrall's got a pretty unique relationship with new Jaguar head coach Liam Cohen. So not only are we going to talk about Caleb Ransaw with a guy that knows him better than most, that's a guy that's coached him for the last 3 years in college, but we're going to talk with John Sumrall about the new Jaguar head coach Liam Cohen and their relationship, which included Cohen buying Sumrall's house in Lexington, Kentucky. Yeah, pretty interesting stuff. John Sumrall is the head coach of the Tulane Green Wave. He coached Jaguar 3rd-round pick Caleb Ransaw last year, and he joins us next on a Tuesday night here in Jacksonville, Florida. We're glad you're with us. Hacker After Dark on 1010XL and on 92.5 FM.
In your car, at home, or on your phone, radio play-by-play is where you are.
What a game for the Jacksonville defense.
1010XL, Jacksonville's home for play-by-play.
Hello,
Hello, First Coast. I'm sure by now you have seen our bright green GFL trucks and containers throughout the greater Jacksonville area. We're an industry leader in solid waste and would love the opportunity to earn your business. We're committed to customer service, reliability, and have an unwavering focus on safety. Whether commercial or construction, let us haul your waste away. Call 904-760-5880 to get a quote today from GFL, Green for Life.
If you are an experienced electrician looking for your next big opportunity, look no further than the Miller Electric Company, a trusted name in the industry for over 96 years. At Miller Electric, we tackle the biggest projects in the city, offering you the chance to showcase your skills on a grand scale. We believe in rewarding hard work with the best pay, top-notch benefits, and an unbeatable culture where people actually care about each other. Take your career to new heights with Miller Electric Company. Apply today at millercareers.com. Miller Electric, an equal opportunity employer.
Looking for a fun-filled evening that the whole family can enjoy? Discover the thrill of indoor football, a fast-paced, action-filled sport where excitement meets family fun. Check out your hometown Sharks on Saturday, May 3rd at 7 p.m. Ask about our family 4-packs, 4 tickets, 4 $10 vouchers, and a $20 Owl's Pizza gift card, all for only $100. For tickets, go to jacksharks.com or call 904-621-0700. Go Sharks!
Prosser here. The Sharks look to get back in winning form this Saturday while you enjoy a fun-filled evening. Ask about our family 4-packs, 4 tickets, 4 $10 vouchers, and a $20 Owl's Pizza gift card, all for only $100. Discover the thrill of indoor football, fast-paced, action-filled, family fun, and check out our hometown Sharks. Saturday, May 3rd, kickoff 7 o'clock at the ViStar Memorial Arena. For tickets and the family 4-pack information, go to jacksharks.com or call 904-621-0700. That's 621-0700.
Go Sharks! Attention business owners and property managers. Hurricane season is right around the corner. Is your property ready? Call the pros at Duck Duck Rooter for expert storm drain cleaning and hydrojetting. Our powerful VACCON truck clears the way so your drains flow freely when the rain hits. Call 904-862-6769 today to schedule your service and protect your property before the storms start rolling in. Duck Duck Rooter, your trusted name in storm drain maintenance. Visit us at duckduckrooter.com. We're a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Fish know where to hide. Captain Kevin knows how to find them.
That's a big one.
Listen for the Wind Power Fishing Forecast Show, brought to you by Awaken 180 Weight Loss and Royal Pest Services.
Thursday nights at 6
on 1010XL AM.
Hey everybody, it's Mike Dempsey, and I only like to recommend the best, which is why I'm proud to say that I chose Pella Windows and Doors for my own home. And now's a great time to upgrade your home with 0% financing for 60 months. That's 5 years of interest-free payments on the best windows and doors in the business. Don't wait. Schedule a free consultation at PellaJacks.com or visit their showroom on Phillips Highway just north of Bay Meadows. For quality you can trust and savings you can't miss, that's Pella Windows and Doors.
This is Mark Nato. My son Justin injured his hand playing baseball for JU. Southeast Orthopedic Specialist performed surgery just a few days later, and within 5 weeks, he was cleared to play in the ASUN baseball tournament. Our family has trusted Southeast Orthopedic Specialists for years. For any orthopedic injury, let Southeast Orthopedic Specialists take care of you too.
Relieve pain and get back to life. Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Getting a pool? David Garrard here. I just did. But before they dug, I called Clearwater Irrigation, and they capped off all my sprinkler lines so the pool company could just dig away.
Then when your pool's finished, we'll install your sprinkler system back to full coverage.
And now my backyard oasis is getting watered beautifully.
And maybe then, Dave, I could take another quick dip.
Bigger swimming trunks, John. Much bigger.
Clearwater Irrigation.
And drainage, too.
The aroma, flavor, the bliss. Nothing matches a great cigar, and now you can indulge yourself with My Father's Cigars. Come to Tobacco Cove on Saturday, May 3rd from 1 to 4 p.m. for an incredible cigar event featuring food, drinks, and specials on cigars. This is your chance to embrace the joy of My Father's Cigars at Tobacco Cove on Bay Meadows Road. More than a cigar store, it's an experience.
Are you ready to reclaim your backyard? Serving Northeast Florida since 1977, Surfside Pools is the trusted name for expert pool design. Family owned and operated, they offer pool service, equipment repairs, commercial maintenance, remodels, and new pool construction. Let Surfside Pools transform your backyard into the oasis that you crave. Are you ready to float happy? Visit surfsidepools.net or call 246-2666. Surfside Pools and Spas, where luxury meets leisure.
License number CPC 044080.
Yo, it's your boy E to the T here, and I know that getting into an accident is stressful, but getting the proper care doesn't have to be. That's why I recommend McGowan Spinal Rehabilitation Center. Even if you're at fault, your insurance covers you. And remember, you have the right to choose your own doctor. Even a minor accident can cause whiplash for years if it goes untreated. So don't wait. Call the auto accident experts at McGowan Spinal Rehabilitation. Your recovery starts today.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, another great guest on the Checkmate Coatings phone line. Hello. Your floor's missing piece.
Back here on 1010XL at 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville, your home for the Jacksonville Jaguars, and we are glad you are with us. This past weekend in the NFL Draft, the Jaguars draft 9 players, including a couple in the 3rd round, one of which was from Tulane in defensive back Caleb Ransaw. Let's talk to a man that knows all about Caleb Ransaw. That was his head coach at Tulane last year, John Summerall. Coach joins us here on 1010XL in Jacksonville. Coach, how you doing?
I'm doing great, Ryan. Appreciate you having me on, man.
Hey, Coach, thank you. We know how busy you are this time of year. And let's begin talking about Caleb Ransaw, 3rd-round pick for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Played defensive back, primarily corner, I believe, for you at Tulane last year. The thought is maybe moving to safety in the National Football League. What type of player are the Jaguars getting with Caleb Ransaw?
Yeah, Caleb's a great human being, first and foremost, a really good person. We talk a lot in our program about better people make better players. Well, he's sort of the picture of that. But really good person, very gifted athletically, 5-position tool type DB player. What I mean by that is in 22, he played for me at Troy University and played outside at corner. And then in 23 at Troy, he played really more inside at nickel. And then last year here at Tulane, when I came here, he had every SEC school, and it felt like trying to get him to come to them. And he came here to Tulane with us once he entered the portal just because of familiarity, and he knew how he'd be coached and how he'd be used and developed. And so we used him at nickel still last year predominantly. He practiced plenty at corner and plenty at safety. But we used him at the slot corner nickel spot, mainly because, in 23 at Troy, he covered Malachi Corley, who's with the Jets, a lot. And then last year, a couple of the teams we played had their best player in the slot. And so we just felt like that was the best way for us to put a high-end DB versus a high-end receiver a lot of times. And so he has the physical tools to play all 5. He's a 195-pound plus guy who runs a 4.3 40. But then on top of it, has really, really high football IQ. He a year ago, he had a little infection. He had to have a overnight stay at a hospital just to take an antibiotic to clear up an infection quick that was sort of like a viral deal that, and when he was in there, I walk in to go check on him one night, and he's got his iPad out, and he's watching every draftable DB for this draft that just happened on PFF. And he's watching all their clips and all the guys that got high rankings. He is a football junkie. The guy loves the game. He's ate up with it. And I'll tell you a great story. The Friday night, a week before the draft where he got drafted, 1 week ahead of the 2nd and 3rd round night, that Friday night, 1 week earlier, I'm leaving the office at 7 o'clock, and I walk out on one of our little mini practice fields here, and Caleb's out there doing DB drills with a younger DB, and he's working on footwork and just kind of movement pattern stuff that a DB needs to have at 7 o'clock on a Friday night. All right, and so I don't know how many guys at 7 o'clock on Friday night are at their college practicing a week ahead of getting drafted, but that just shows you how much he loves football and loves his development.
John Summerall, the head coach of Tulane. To that point, Coach, James Gladstone, the GM, Liam Cohen, the head coach, who we'll get to in a moment. I know you have a nice relationship with Liam Cohen. They're talking about bringing in intangibly rich people in here to the Jaguar organization. I think what you just said speaks volumes. Caleb Ransaw has the intangibles I'm sure the Jaguars are looking for.
Yeah, he's ate up with football. Dave Adolph was a mentor of mine. John Gruden's book, Do You Love Football? The whole first chapter was written about Dave, really, in the saying, do you love football? And Dave would ask players all the time, do you love football? Well, the answer on does Caleb Ransaw love football? It's not yeah, it's hell yeah. The guy loves it. And he's so driven about being his best. And he likes getting coached. He hangs on every word you have to say if he knows you can help him improve and get just a little better at the game. He studies tape. He works on the individual skill development pieces you have to have. It's the kind of guy that makes coaching fun, and he makes everybody around him better. He does all this, quite honestly, while being extremely low maintenance. Like, he's not a big social media guy. He's not a big, over-the-top crazy talker. He's confident and he knows who he is, but he's not necessarily about just getting attention. He puts the work in. He's going to be a lunch pail guy. He's going to punch the clock and he's going to bring it every day. That term is really, I think, adequate when you're talking about Caleb. Intangibly rich is spot on. He's that kind of guy, and I think he fits the culture that they're trying to build there.
Final moments with John Summerall, the head coach of Tulane, with us here on 1010XL in Jacksonville, talking about Jaguar third-round pick Caleb Ransaw. Now, Coach, when I was looking at your bio, I knew you were at Kentucky. I knew Liam Cohen was at Kentucky, and I knew you guys were there the same year, so obviously there's a relationship. But from what you've told me earlier, there's an actual deeper relationship, friendship that you and Liam Cohen have built over the years.
Yeah, so we hired Liam at Kentucky. I was the co-defensive coordinator and coached the linebackers, and we hired Liam to be the offensive coordinator. And I guess it was maybe December of 2020, Liam got a guy named Cooper Kupp on the phone with my son, who thinks he's going to be the next Cooper Kupp. And so my son gets on the phone. Liam gets him on the phone with Cooper Kupp on Christmas Eve, which my son now thinks that Liam's the greatest ever because of that. But Liam came to work with us in 2021. He was the offensive coordinator, did a phenomenal job orchestrating our offense. We had Will Levis at quarterback and Wandale Robinson at receiver and Chris Rodriguez at running back. And Liam kind of helped those guys elevate their game. And then at the end of the 2021 season, I ended up taking the head coaching job at Troy University in Southeast Alabama and sold Liam my house. So I cut him a deal. He probably still owes me some money on it, but I gave him a really good price on my house in Lexington and have always had a great deal of respect for Liam, a great friendship. He reached out just a couple of days ahead of the draft to kind of pick my brain on Ransaw. And I thought, all right, well, we're friends, but he's not going to take a guy just because we're friends or encourage anybody to take a guy. He said, all right, give me the real on this kid. Like, all I've heard is great stuff. I need to know the real. And I gave him, the facts as I know him on Caleb. And, but yeah, have a lot of respect for Liam and a great friendship with him. And could not be more proud of his success and accomplishments in becoming a head coach of the NFL. Couldn't happen to a better guy. I think the Jaguars organization, the city of Jacksonville, they're in great hands because Liam Cohen's, he's big time. He's top shelf, and he's a guy that I know really well and have watched him do his thing at a high level and have always been impressed with how he operates.
Coach, as we wrap up, second year coming up for you at Tulane. This is your fourth year as a head coach. By the way, 32-9. That's pretty good. 3 years in, coming off a 9-5 campaign at Tulane last year. How has the offseason to this point gone? How are you looking coming into year number 2 there with the Green Wave?
Yeah, we're in a good spot. Anytime you're in year 2, not year 1, it feels almost like at times slow motion because you already got your staff in place and a lot of your systems and procedures in place. We're in a great situation here. The biggest things nowadays we deal with in college football are the transfer portal and NIL, and we're in this landscape, I think, equipped to be able to maneuver and operate at a high level. But we've got a whopping 2 returning starters on offense and 3 on defense. So we've got a very different team from last year, a much less proven team, if you will. That's exciting, and at the same time, it's a little bit scary. But, we won 9 games last year, went to the conference championship, and kind of felt a little disappointed with how the year finished, to be quite honest. And anytime you're in a spot where you're not winning 9 games and being ranked 17th in the country in the college football playoff with 1 regular season game left to go, we didn't handle our business quite at the end the way we wanted to. And so we still got a lot of meat left on the bone to go chew and try to figure out how do we get a little better. And like the direction this program's headed in, like this place, we've got a great support group here, and the university gives us a ton of resourcing to provide the opportunity for our players to grow and develop and our coaching staff to serve them. And I think we've got a lot of guys that are going to be future NFL draft picks coming up. So maybe some more Jags. You never know.
John Summerall, the head coach of Tulane. Caleb Ransaw, a third-round pick out of Tulane by the Jacksonville Jaguars this past weekend. Coach, I know how busy you are. Thank you for taking time out with us here in Jacksonville. We'll say hello to Liam Cohen for you, and we'll talk again soon, pal.
Thank you. Appreciate you having me on.
There you go, John Summerall of Tulane. Really enjoyed that conversation. Give you a little insight on Caleb Ransaw, and I didn't realize there was a close relationship between he and Liam Cohen. I'll tell you, that's a guy, John Summerall, that is going to have a Southeastern Conference job sooner rather than later. When some of these jobs, maybe Arkansas, who knows what Billy Napier's status is down the line, somewhere, Auburn and Hugh Freeze, somebody in the SEC is going to hire John Summerall. 32-9 in 3 years, 2 at Troy, 1 at Tulane. Has done a terrific job. He's only 42 years of age. Already has SEC experience from coaching at Kentucky. That's a guy I'm rooting for, no question about it. And we certainly appreciate Coach Summerall for taking time out for us here on Hacker After Dark. Now, that was the Caleb Ransaw story. There is also a story in Blacksburg, Virginia, about Bashel Tootin. Tootin, the running back, 4th-round pick out of Blacksburg, 25 touchdowns, over 2,000 yards rushing in 2 years in a Virginia Tech uniform. The Hokies head coach is Brent Pry. I had the opportunity earlier to talk with Brent Pry up in Blacksburg, Virginia, about the Jaguar 4th-round rookie running back. What are his thoughts on Tootin? How does his game translate to the NFL? Could he be a Bucky Irving-type player that Liam Cohen had last year in Tampa Bay? We go from the head coach of Tulane to the head coach of Virginia Tech. Brent Pry joins us next as we roll on till 10 o'clock on a Tuesday night. It's Hacker After Dark.
Jaguars beat reporter Hayes Carline.
Oh, well, he's very popular.
Weekday afternoons on The Frangie Show.
They all adore him. They think he's a righteous dude.
On 1010XL.
You sounded like Dirty Harry just then.
92.5 FM.
Blue here for the Blue Crab House, located right off of San Jose. It's on Jewington Creek Road. They've been around since 1996. Indoor-outdoor dining. Also, takeout is available at the Blue Crab House. Open 4:30 to 9, Tuesday through Saturday. Sunday, noon until 9. Remember, Tuesday, $2 margaritas. Wednesday, $1 oyster night. How about the blue crabs? How about my personal favorite, the Canadian snow crabs? Whatever it is that you fancy, you get it right there. The Blue Crab House.
Friendly competition meets great futures. It's the Birdies and Bounces Tournament presented by the Mackenzie Noel Wilson Foundation, Friday, May 9th at the Yards. Where else can a pickleball tournament, 15 holes of golf, food, fun, beverages, raffles, and great activities help a worthy organization like the Boys and Girls Clubs of Northeast Florida, where 59 clubs serve nearly 6,000 youth daily. For tickets and team registration, email Charlie C. at bgcnf.org.
Home of the Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
Hey, Jacksonville, I'm sure by now you've seen our bright green GFL trucks and containers throughout the greater Jacksonville area. We are an industry leader in solid waste and would love the opportunity to earn your business. We are committed to customer service, reliability, and have unwavering focus on safety. Whether commercial or construction, let us haul your waste away. Call 904-760-5880 to get a quote today. GFL, green for life.
Leon Cersei here. Let's be real. I used to eat like a lineman because I was one. And man, those habits are hard to break. I needed help to stop with the munchies and lose weight. But now, I'm bringing sexy back. I call Physician Guided Weight Loss. Their medical team is helping me shed pounds safely with a custom plan to help me slim down. And their firm pricing means same price every month. Hey, you want to bring sexy back? Visit Physician Guided Weight Loss at pgweightloss.com.
Okay, for this Cannons of Jacksonville commercial, we need an idea to really come out with a bang.
Like having a guy shot out of a cannon.
Nah, too messy. In fact, Cannons is known for all your towing needs.
So like my car won't start.
No. Towing products. Cannons does custom welding fabrication and installation of trailer hitches, goosenecks, tow bars, truck racks.
So you might say Cannons is my best shot at finding that inventory in stock?
Boom. You said it.
Visit cannonsofjacks.com.
Denny Thompson here. If you haven't heard, Tyson Sound and Security has a house built right inside their showroom, showcasing complete home automation and security systems. You have to see it to believe it. This setup can recognize intruders who approach your door and alerts them to leave if there's a break-in. Keep your family safe with the most state-of-the-art technology. Tyson Sound and Security, your security, home theater, and home automation experts. New showroom at 3555 U.S. Highway 17 in Fleming Island.
Tired of wrestling with your shower curtain like it's a slip and slide gone wrong? Ditch the drama and say hello to a smooth, stylish glass shower enclosure from Baker Glass. Wago Glass is clean, elegant, and makes your bathroom look huge and brighter. Give your shower a makeover and feel like you're in a spa without the price tag. I'm Mac at Baker Glass. Call me and get ready to love your new shower. Let's make your shower great again. Remember, Baker Glass. No one treats you better.
Hey, Hicken here, or just call me Dreamfinders Danny. For a limited time to ring in the new year, Dreamfinders Homes is offering an amazing 4.99% fixed interest rate. Now's your chance to lock down that rate and get in the game. You heard me right. It's 4.99 fixed interest rate on select move-in ready homes. Visit dreamfindershomes.com for sales event information and get in the game. Interest rate available on select move-in ready homes. Restrictions and limitations apply. Go to dreamfindershomes.com for more details.
If you're tired of weekend projects turning into weekend disasters, you're not alone. Building a fence isn't as easy as it looks. And let's face it, your neighbor still hasn't fixed his lopsided masterpiece. But Superior Fence and Rail makes it easy. Highly trained professionals, top quality materials, and a fence you'll love for years to come. Skip the stress and call the pros today.
When you're on the fence, about the fence, SuperiorFenceandRail.com.
Hey everybody, Jennifer Marion with Randy Marion Cadillac in Jacksonville here to say hello, and we'd sure like to have your business.
You know what? They're going to love the king of price.
My dad believes in making great deals and having a great selection.
Fish Pest Control is family owned, 5-star rated with no binding contracts and 100% satisfaction guarantee. Call them now to book your service. Only at Kingfish Pest Control, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, another great guest on the Checkmate Coatings phone line. Hello. Your floor's missing piece.
Back here on 1010XL at 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville. We are glad you are with us. The Jacksonville Jaguars capped off the NFL draft this past weekend. 9 draft picks in total, including a 4th-rounder from Virginia Tech in running back Bichelle Tootin. Let's talk to a man that knows all about Bichelle Tootin as a player and a person, and that is the head football coach of the Virginia Tech Hokies. Coach Brent Pry joins us here on 1010XL in Jacksonville. Coach, how we doing?
Doing well, man. Really excited for Bichelle and for your organization. Everybody's going to love some Tootin.
Well, let's talk about Bayshall Tootin a little bit. Coach, we see the stats, 2,000 yards the last 2 years, 25 touchdowns. We see the speed, a 4.32 40-yard dash. We'll get into all of that, but you know him better than all of us. What kind of player are the Jaguars getting with running back Bayshall Tootin?
Yeah, first of all, he's got tremendous humility. He's very likable. People in that building are going to really, they're gonna like having Bayshall Tootin as a teammate. They're going to like him playing for that franchise. He is he's incredibly humble, but at the same time, really a confident young man. Tremendous faith in his abilities and what he can accomplish. He's got all the traits to me. He's tough. He's got balance. He's got speed. He breaks tackles. This second year, he really improved with his pass pro and catching the ball out of the backfield. We're going to miss him. A very valuable part of our football team the last 2 years.
A 4.32 40-yard dash speaks for itself. And the Jaguars coach talked about finding guys that can get into the end zone. Well, Bayshall Tootin did that for your Virginia Tech Hokies the last couple of years. I believe 25 touchdowns in 23 and 24 combined. The guy knows how to find pay dirt, does he not?
Absolutely. And, I don't know how many. I don't have it in front of me. But you talk about explosive runs that earned touchdowns, where he took something that for a lot of guys is 12, 15 yards, and he outruns the secondary to the end zone. Or he makes one guy miss and ends up, in the grandstand with the fans. He's electric that way. And we certainly had, with him in our offense, every time he touched the ball, there was the possibility that you had an explosive run coming and even a touchdown.
Brent Pryce, the head coach of the Virginia Tech Hokies. He joins us here on 1010XL in Jacksonville, talking about new Jaguar running back Bayshall Tootin. Coach, James Gladstone and Liam Cohen, the new regime here in Jacksonville, have used the term intangibly rich because there have been some problems in the past with certain guys the Jaguars have brought in, and they're trying to find intangibly rich guys to bring into this organization. Talking to people around Bayshall Tootin, I think he certainly fits that moniker, but you're certainly the person to ask. What kind of intangibles on and off the field are the Jaguars getting with him?
Well, first of all, what the Jags and what Coach Cohen are looking for is exactly how we're trying to build this program here in Blacksburg. The character traits and the intangibles are just as important as the level of talent, and Bayshall has both. He was a great teammate here. He was very well thought of by players, coaches, and staff. The fan base, there was a great affection there for Tootin. Anybody that got to know him closely, he's quiet. As I mentioned, he's humble, but he's got a lot to him. And as you get to know Bayshall, you really appreciate the person that he is. And I think they're going to be very pleased in all regards as he embarks on his career in Jacksonville.
Coach, I want to ask you about your program and how the spring has gone in one moment, but as we wrap up about Bayshall Tootin, I mean, you look at what Liam Cohen did last year with the rookie and Bucky Irving, who was a mid-round selection. A lot of comparisons are being made. Can Liam Cohen do that again? And Tootin's going to have some help in the backfield, no question. Travis Etienne is here. Tank Bigsby is here. But do you think Tootin is capable of coming in as a rookie and contributing at the NFL level?
Absolutely. He's a student of the game. He's going to work very hard at it. And as I mentioned, I just think he's a very well-rounded back. He's got tremendous maturity. He's proved to be very durable. He's played through injuries. And he has on the surface, you won't see it, but underneath, there's an incredible desire and determination to be special.
You've been a coach in college football for a while now, but still, even to this day, when you see guys like Bayshall get drafted from your program, Coach, that has to make you feel awesome, correct?
Oh, absolutely. And, it's everybody wants to knock on the transfer portal, and it certainly has its issues. But you talk about a young man that was not highly recruited out of high school. He ends up at North Carolina A&T, has a really good career there, has the opportunity to come to a place like Virginia Tech, and be an all-conference caliber player here and chase his dream of, being drafted and playing in the NFL. So, it's there's been a lot of good running backs come through here over the years, and he's certainly going to have his name etched there in there with him.
Final moments with head coach Brent Pry of Virginia Tech football. Coach, let's focus on the Hokies. There's a good Jacksonville following. In fact, I have quite a few buddies that are part of the Virginia Tech fan club here in Jacksonville. They get together and watch the Hokie games on Saturday. How has the spring gone for you guys, and what's your outlook heading into 2025?
Yeah, I feel, we have a team right now that has a very strong voice. We have a deeper roster. Guys that have, that we've recruited into this program have come up with the foundation and the fundamentals that we believe in that are right for Virginia Tech and right for me. And we've recruited well at the high school level and through the transfer portal. So, we certainly have a lot of work to do. We've got a competitive schedule. We open up in Atlanta against a really good South Carolina team. So we'll have our hands full there, but I'm excited about the promise and, what we've done to this point.
Coach, final question. You mentioned the game in Atlanta against South Carolina. That's going to be one of the marquee games to open up the college football season. Not that you and your staff and your players need any added motivation, but knowing you're going to be one of the headliners opening weekend, that's got to be a good thought as you get into summer drills and obviously into fall camp.
Certainly people are excited about that around here. And to be honest, that's why these players come to a place like Virginia Tech, to play in marquee matchups, to play on national TV. So they're excited, but they also know that what we can control right now is the day in front of us. And we got a lot of getting better to do before we take on, a really good South Carolina team that's got a ton of momentum right now.
Bayshell Tootin, fourth-round running back out of Virginia Tech. He's one of the newest Jaguar running backs. His head coach is Brent Pry. Coach, I know you're busy. Thank you so much for taking time out for us here in Jacksonville. We certainly appreciate it, pal.
Happy to do it. Good luck to you guys and to Bayshell.
There you go. Brent Pry with us here on 1010XL in Jacksonville, the head coach of the Virginia Tech Hokies. So there you go. John Summerall, the head coach of Tulane. Brent Pry, the head coach of Virginia Tech. We will go to Syracuse coming up here in about 10 minutes. LaQuint Allen, the running back that the Jaguars took in the 7th round, we'll catch up with his offensive coordinator and running backs coach from Syracuse, Jeff Nixon. He will join us. Interesting thing about Jeff Nixon, we'll talk about LaQuint Allen, but Nixon coached with Grant Udinski at Baylor. It's interesting how all these guys intersect, Denmark. I mean, we talked with John Summerall. He has a relationship with Liam Cohen. I talked with Jeff Nixon, the offensive coordinator of Syracuse. He has a relationship with Grant Udinski. I mean, the coaching fraternity is a small fraternity, man. They all seem to know each other, which is kind of cool. So we'll talk with Jeff Nixon, not only about LaQuint Allen, the 7th-round running back, by the way, who led, I believe, all running backs in Division I college football last year in receptions out of the backfield, which is interesting. But we'll also talk about Jeff Nixon's relationship with Grant Udinski from Udinski's time at Baylor. And then Ian Cummings of Pro Football Network joins us towards the bottom of the hour. Ian's been one of my draft guys for years. We'll put a final bow from Ian's perspective at PFN, Pro Football Network, on what the Jaguars did, not only with Travis Hunter, but with the entirety of their draft class. I got to tell you, the only guy that I've actually seen that hates the Jaguar draft, we're going to have on tomorrow. My buddy Chad Forbes at NFL Draft Bites, he hates the Jaguar draft class. So I want to talk with Chad about that, and Chad likes to stir the pot a little bit if you follow him on social media, but we're going to have him on tomorrow night here on Hacker After Dark. But outside of Chad, I haven't really seen very many negative comments at all.
Colin Cowherd.
Cowherd hates it. I don't watch him. What did he say?
It's dumb that the Jags do a trade like this. You don't know your personnel, and you're giving up a 2nd round or a 1st round next year.
Yeah, well, Cowherd doesn't watch the Jaguars at all. That's such a lazy, stupid narrative. The trade, the hay is in the barn, except the first next year. The Cleveland Browns took Mason Graham, Quinshon Junkins, and Dylan Sampson. They took a defensive tackle and 2 running backs. What would be absolutely hilarious is if Bayshell Tootin is better than Junkins, because the Jaguars got Tootin 2 rounds later, And the Browns used the Junkins pick at pick 36, which they got from Jacksonville. If Jacksonville's good in 2025, they won this trade hands down. If they're bad, and if it's a top 10 or dare I say a top 5 pick, well, then Cleveland won this trade hands down. And I think if Jacksonville's average, if the pick's anywhere from 14 to 18, it's probably a push. I think anything north of like 18 or 19, if the pick's in the 20s next year, Jacksonville to me won it, no problem. If the pick is in obviously the top 12 or 13, I would say Cleveland won it. And then there's that sweet spot between 13 and 18, 13 and 19, where you could probably say it was a push. But, of course, we're not going to know that until the 2025 season plays out. Quickly, before we go to Syracuse and talk to offensive coordinator Jeff Nixon, Milwaukee was up 7 with 40 seconds to go, trying to keep their season alive against Indiana. And Indiana came back and beat them. What a way for Milwaukee's season to end. Could it potentially be Giannis's final game in Milwaukee? There'll be all sorts of talk about that this summer. But Indiana advances. They win the series 4-1. Orlando up early on Boston 19-12 in Game 5. Orlando trying to keep their season alive. They trail the Celtics 3-1. Orlando up 7. Let's see. Banchero only 2 points. Wagner 7. KCP, Contavious Caldwell-Pope, 2 threes early, 8 points total. Not getting my hopes up. Believe me, I've seen this song and dance too many times. But the Magic an early 7-point lead on Boston. And Detroit trying to keep their season alive at the Garden tonight against the Knicks. Pistons lead by 6 with 9 minutes to go in quarter number 3. Again, Ian Cummings, Pro Football Network, towards the bottom of the hour. Coming up next, Jeff Nixon, the offensive coordinator, Coach Nixon of Syracuse. We're going to talk about LaQuint Allen, the running back, and we're going to talk a little Grant Udinski, who Jeff Nixon coached with at Baylor a few years ago. On a Tuesday night here in Jacksonville, Florida, with Dylan Denmark, the hacker Ryan Green with you. Jacksonville, we're glad you're with us till 10 o'clock, as we are every night right here on 1010XL. 92.5 FM, it's Hacker After Dark.
Hello, you're on the air. There's more to 1010XL than radio.
1010XL is multimedia.
All communication lines are clear. Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. Find 1010XL on your social channels.
Plumbing problems, AC not blowing, septic tank doing whatever septic tanks do? Don't call 3 different companies and play contractor roulette. Just call Duck Duck Rooter. We handle plumbing, septic, and air conditioning all under one roof. That's one call, one company, and one bill that won't give you a heart attack. For fast, reliable, and slightly ducky service, call 904-862-6769 or waddle over to duckduckrooter.com. When you're stuck, call the Duck.
Looking for a fun-filled evening that the whole family can enjoy? Discover the thrill of indoor football, a fast-paced, action-filled sport where excitement meets family fun. Check out your hometown Sharks on Saturday, May 3rd at 7 p.m. Ask about our family 4-packs, 4 tickets, 4 $10 vouchers, and a $20 Owl's Pizza gift card, all for only $100. For tickets, go to jacksharks.com or call 904-621-0700. Go Sharks!
Prosser here. The Sharks look to get back in winning form this Saturday while you enjoy a fun-filled evening. Ask about our family 4-packs, 4 tickets, 4 $10 vouchers, and a $20 Owl's Pizza gift card, all for only $100. Discover the thrill of indoor football, fast-paced, action-filled, family fun, and check out our hometown Sharks. Saturday, May 3rd, kickoff 7 o'clock at the MyStar Memorial Arena. For tickets and the family 4-pack information, go to jacksharks.com or call 904-621-0700. That's 621-0700.
Go Sharks! Fantastic news here due to overwhelming response. Spears Diamonds extending their amazing earring and bracelet sale for Mother's Day. Hicken here. So now through Mother's Day, you can still save up to 40% off diamond earrings and diamond tennis bracelets. It's Spears' most ambitious offer ever, and response has been incredible. The corporate-owned big box stores can't touch these prices. Spears, locally owned, man. Say hi to the Lupos when you go over there. The freedom to give you pricing you deserve, highest quality diamond jewelry. Celebrate the mothers in your life with something they'll appreciate for decades to come. They also have special pricing on other Mother Day favorites, including colored gemstones, pearls, pendants, and fashion jewelry. Beard's Diamonds, your destination for making this Mother's Day truly special. Don't miss Beard's Diamonds' biggest sale ever. Up to 40% off Beard's already beatable value price. Now through Mother's Day at the Town Center. Only locally owned jeweler. It's Beard's Diamonds.
Brian and Angela Wall here with Window World. By now, everyone has heard about saving money on their energy bills. There are all sorts of things you can do to cut energy costs, but most people don't think about their windows.
But Window World knows that the biggest energy loss in almost every home is the windows. There is more energy loss from old builder-grade windows than just about anything else in your home.
You can upgrade your heating and air, your appliances. That's good too. But before you do all that, upgrade your windows to Window World's energy-efficient windows.
Window World's windows are easy to clean, energy efficient, and have the best guarantee in the business.
Window World's slogan is simply the best for less, and we mean it. You get great American-made windows, and you get to keep more of your money when you buy from Window World. Need any more reasons to buy your windows from Window World? Call them today and set up your free in-home estimate, or go online to windowworldneflorida.com.
Window World, simply the best for less.
Thank you for your business.
Window World also offers energy-efficient doors.
If you missed it, get it on demand.
And you send those out on the line.
Find your 1010XL favorites where you find podcasts and at 1010XL.com. Channel 5, Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic and Air Conditioning.
Guys, your lawn's the home field. Now you can champion your St. Augustine grass. TopDressing.com just hit Jacksonville with a game-changing patented process. Aerate and transform your turf into a fairway-worthy masterpiece. Less water, shorter cuts, and the envy of every neighbor. No one else delivers a perfect 10 lawn like this. Visit TopDressing.com and dominate your block with the same process that golf courses use. Top dress your lawn like the pros with TopDressing.com.
Is your backyard ready for the big leagues? Pick it here for Surfside Pools. Serving Northeast Florida since 1977, they have the home field advantage. Family owned and operated, offering weekly pool service, equipment repairs, commercial maintenance, remodels, and new pool construction. Let Surfside Pools make your backyard dreams a reality. Are you ready to float happy? Visit SurfsidePools.net or call 904-246-2666. Surfside Pools and Spas, your hometown MVP.
License number CPC 044080.
This is your Mad Dad's Update with Chapter President Donald Ford. In our effort to curb crime, drugs, and violence during the summer months, we are offering Friday Night Lights. It has already started and will be going until school starts back. It is every Friday night from 6:30 to 9:30 at the Blacktop, 5732 Normandy Boulevard, and behind the Potter's House Christian Academy. We manage 3 basketball courts. You are not running on the cement. We have covering on each court. The Lakers, the Magic, and the Heat. Ages 15 to 40 years old. This will give them something to do other than selling drugs and getting into trouble. We have monitors there giving leadership. We have to wake up, stand up, and speak up. Hit me on Facebook and tell me what you think. Or MattDadJacksonville.com.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, another great guest on the Checkmate Coatings phone line.
Hello.
Your floor's missing piece.
Back here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville, your home of the Jacksonville Jaguars, and we are glad you are with us. 9 draft picks for the Jaguars this past weekend, including a couple of running backs, one of which was taken in the 7th round out of Syracuse. LaQuint Allen is his name. Let's get some information on LaQuint Allen from his offensive coordinator up in Syracuse. That is Coach Jeff Nixon, always kind enough to join us here on 1010XL. Coach, how you doing?
Good, doing great. Appreciate you having me on this afternoon.
Hey, Coach, thank you for the time. We certainly appreciate it. All right, LaQuint Allen, let's begin with just the basics, and then we'll branch out into the type of person he is. From a football perspective, Coach, what are the Jaguars getting with LaQuint Allen?
Man, I tell you what, it's unbelievable, man. I think the Jaguars got a hidden gem in LaQuint. You know, he is a true 3-down running back, you know, who can do it all. And, you know, that's what you're looking for in the NFL at that position. He can run every single run scheme. we threw the ball a lot this year, so he takes great pride in being a great pass protector and can really catch the ball out of the backfield. Probably had the best hands on our team. He led the NCAA in running back catches last year with 64. And, he was just a player that, we didn't really want to take off the field. He played more snaps than any running back last year in NCAA football, almost, I think, 900 snaps. So you're getting a true competitor, someone who's going to be one of the toughest guys on the field, and, someone who loves football. He loves the process of working and getting better, on a daily basis. And, I'm looking for LeQuint to do great things there in Jacksonville.
Obviously a very durable player, the number of snaps, as you mentioned. And, Coach, as you know, there's so much more about running back than just running the football. But you spoke earlier about the blitz pickup and obviously catching the balls out of the backfield. You think LeQuint's an all-around running back?
No doubt. Yeah, that's what he is. I mean, if you look at all his third down reps, he's a dominant pass protector. And I think that's what they were looking for. I was fortunate. I worked with Grant Udinski at Baylor. And, that was one of the questions, they had asked about LeQuint, was about his pass protection and his knowledge of NFL schemes and, his physicality as a pass protector. And it shows up on film. I mean, you can see it on a weekly basis. Man, the guy can really block, and he plays physical, and he takes great pride in protecting the quarterback.
Coach Jeff Nixon, the offensive coordinator up at Syracuse, with us here on 1010XL in Jacksonville. Coach, that's interesting. You worked with Grant Udinski. Quickly, let's talk about him for a second. 29-year-old offensive coordinator. Coach, you don't see that at all in the National Football League. Your thoughts on him and your opinion on how he will do year number one here in Jacksonville?
No, Grant is special, man. His first coaching job was, working as a GA at Baylor, and we were fortunate enough to hire him, and he worked on the offensive side of the ball, the defensive side of the ball, and then he did such a great job. Coach Rule brought him to the Carolina Panthers with us, and it's been great seeing the progress Grant has made throughout his career. He's such a great, young, bright mind, offensive mind, and, had a lot of success up there in Minnesota, with Coach O'Connell, and was so excited to see him get his opportunity to be, the youngest offensive coordinator in the NFL, and I know he's going to do great.
There's a lot of excitement about Udinski and the rest of the staff down here in Jacksonville. Coach, back to LeQuint Allen. James Gladstone, the general manager here in Jacksonville, has used the term intangibly rich. He wanted to bring intangibly rich guys into the Jaguar organization. What about LeQuint Allen's intangibles? Do you think that's the kind of guy the Jaguars were looking for?
I think without a doubt. I mean, LeQuint is only 20 years old. I mean, he's young. He's hungry. The kid loves football. I mean, he lives in the building, during the season. He's going to understand everything about the game plan. He's going to be excited, at that running back position, especially when you're young in your career, you got to play special teams. Like, he's going to be more than willing to do whatever it takes to help the team win. And he's just a football player. And like you said, he's going to be, I told Grant, he would no doubt, I'm telling you, he's going to be one of the toughest players on the team. I mean, that's what he brings to the table, and he can do everything they're going to ask him to do as a running back.
Final moments with Jeff Nixon, the offensive coordinator of Syracuse. Coach, I want to end with a thought on Syracuse coming up here in 2025. Final thought on LeQuint Allen. We know about the player he is. What about the person? What kind of guy is going into that locker room? What is the Jacksonville community getting with LeQuint Allen?
They are getting a fiery leader. You look at our leadership last year in our team. We had some really good players. I would probably say Kyle McCord, our quarterback, and LeQuint were definitely, our two leaders who led by example and, vocally on the field. LeQuint's going to give everything he has, and he's going to earn the respect of his teammates immediately. I can guarantee you that. And he's the type of guy you want on your team. I mean, because, again, he's going to do everything that's asked of him, and he's going to play at a high level, and he's going to give it all he's got to help Jacksonville, make the playoffs and really have a successful season.
Coach, let's wrap it up with a thought on Syracuse. Obviously, a big win over Miami towards the end of the regular season last year. How has the offseason gone? How has the spring gone so far?
The offseason's going well. We're just chopping wood, man, trying to get better every day. It's portal season, so we're hosting a lot of visits and just trying to shore up our current roster. But the offseason has been great. Guys are working hard. We kind of put last year behind us, and we're looking forward to the future. We have a really good schedule this year, and we're excited about the progress we made this offseason going into to the 25 season.
Coach, final question. Obviously, a very fertile recruiting ground here in Jacksonville, but the entire state of Florida and Syracuse has traditionally always done well in this state, attracting talent up there. What do you think it has been about Syracuse, really going back decades almost, that gets so many good football players from Florida to head up north?
Well, we've made Florida a priority for us. We invest a lot of time. In all area, everywhere in Florida, South Florida, Central Florida, North Florida, so we try to really recruit the area. There's a lot of good players there. And we've been fortunate enough, to have a lot of guys come up and visit and learn what Syracuse is all about. And they like what they see. And our head coach, has really developed a great culture here. Fran Brown has really developed a great culture here at Syracuse. And a lot of kids, when they come up from Florida, they like what they see. And we've been fortunate enough to get our share of really good players out of the state. So, we want to hope that continues, throughout the years that we're here at Syracuse.
Jeff Nixon, the offensive coordinator of Syracuse, giving us some info on LaQuint Allen, the running back who the Jaguars drafted in the 7th round of this past weekend's NFL draft. Coach, I know how busy you are. Thank you for taking time out for us here in Jacksonville, and we'll talk again soon, pal.
Oh, thank you. Anytime.
Not just talk.
Aren't you forgetting something?
Jacksonville sports talk.
Starting to get the picture?
1010XL.
Okay, good tip.
Jacksonville is listening.
Hey, Hicken here, or just call me Dreamfinders Danny. For a limited time to ring in the new year, Dreamfinders Homes is offering an amazing 4.99% fixed interest rate. Now's your chance to lock down that rate and get in the game. You heard me right. It's 4.99 fixed interest rate on select move-in ready homes. Visit dreamfindershomes.com for sales event information and get in the game. Interest rate available on select move-in ready homes. Restrictions and limitations apply. Go to dreamfindershomes.com for more details.
Blue here for the Blue Crab House, located right off of San Jose. It's on Jewington Creek Road. They've been around since 1996. Indoor-outdoor dining. Also, takeout is available at the Blue Crab House. Open 4:30 to 9, Tuesday through Saturday. Sunday, noon until 9. Remember, Tuesday, $2 margaritas. Wednesday, $1 oyster night. How about the blue crabs? How about my personal favorite, the Canadian snow crabs? Whatever it is that you fancy, you get it right there. The Blue Crab House.
The experts at AMCO have been fixing cars for almost 60 years. Over that time, they've gotten more complex than ever. That's why our techs undergo rigorous training and certifications, so they can fix anything, including the most complicated repairs that come with some of the latest technologies. After 60 years, there's nothing we haven't seen or fixed. It's how we know cars inside and out.
Money tight? We can finance almost anybody. Find the AMCO transmissions nearest you at amcojacksonville.com.
What defines a hero? Dedication, loyalty, courage. Every day at AMCO, we serve heroes. For over 60 years, we've repaired and maintained the most critical public service vehicles. From complex transmissions to simple brake jobs with flexible financing and the extra safety precautions we need. The heroes we serve don't all wear uniforms. They're people like you. At AMCO, we're proud to serve all of you. AA MCO.
Family owned and operated in Jacksonville, Orange Park, St. Augustine, and St. Mary's, Georgia.
The best value for golf in Jacksonville remains Cimarron. Totally reestablished with new tee boxes, improved fairways and greens. Also a brand new restaurant with indoor and outdoor settings and live music. Join the Wild One loyalty program online at Cimarron Golf. When's the last time you played Cimarron? Cimarron Golf Club on 210, the Wild One.
These days, it feels like everyone is talking about how the American dream of homeownership has become out of reach for so many of us. Well, Rocket is trying to give us more of a chance to own our homes. They're making homeownership simpler and more accessible to more people, turning renters into owners. Rocket believes that every one of us deserves a shot at the American dream. So, are you ready? Own the dream. Visit rocket.com. That's rocket.com.
It's a magical phone line.
Check this out.
It brings you things you can't get anywhere else, like insider insight from sports experts. Listen for the Checkmate Coatings phone line. Check. Every day on 1010XL.
You waited forever for your new fence. Then, strangers show up. Subcontractors rushing the job. Sent by the company you trusted. Frustrating, right? Superior Fence and Rail promises better. Their professionally trained builders deliver quality you can trust. No subcontractors, no shortcuts. Just the superior craftsmanship your home deserves.
When you're on the fence, about the fence, superiorfenceandrail.com.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555, Jacksonville. Now, the Cool Down with Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing. Keeping Jack's cool since 1987.
Back here on 1010XL at 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville. We are glad you are with us. The NFL Draft now in the rearview mirror. The Jaguars make 9 selections overall, including, well, the jaw dropper on Thursday night, trading up to taking the Heisman Trophy winner, Travis Hunter. Let's talk about Travis Hunter and the rest of the Jaguar draft class with Ian Cummings. Pro Football Network is where you find his terrific work, and Ian's always kind enough to join us here on 1010XL. Ian, how you doing, man?
Doing good, especially now that we've had some time to take a deep breath after the NFL draft. It's always a really hectic weekend, a 3-day stretch. I know a couple of years ago, I would total probably 6 hours of sleep across the 3 days. We've learned a little bit better how to manage the time and work the most effectively, but it's always a struggle. So it's good to be, on the other side of it. We can relax a little bit, but also a lot of excitement with the players and the teams and the respective fits. And I think the Jaguars are near the top of the list when it comes to excitement generated. James Gladstone had a phenomenal draft. And I think Liam Cohen, the pieces that they're putting together, I think there's reason to expect that they're finally going to come closer to reaching the expectations that they've had under Trevor Lawrence.
Ian, you and I talked a few times before the draft, and I'm not sure if I ever asked you about Travis Hunter because I didn't think there was any reason to ask you about Travis Hunter. They weren't going to be able to get him at number 5. But James Gladstone and Liam Cohen obviously had other ideas. They trade up to number 2. They take the Heisman winner from Colorado. Your thoughts on the trade and the fit of Travis Hunter here in Jacksonville?
Yeah, so first off, the trade, obviously it was a lot to give up, losing a second rounder and then a first rounder next year as well. I think that'll be the part of it that's a little tougher to come to terms with. But at the same time, too, you look at the Jaguars roster, right, and what they were able to do this offseason in particular, too. I think for the most part, they're nearly ready to contend. I think, the biggest thing that we were wondering about is the coaching, right, the GM, the front office, things like that. And I really think they've set off with the right foot forward this offseason. And you look at what they added on offense, on defense, they bolstered the offensive line a little bit more. So I think they're getting there, right? Are they going to be a bona fide playoff contender this year, right? Maybe they'll be on the fringe. I think 2026 might be the time to go for them for sure. But they're getting really close. And Travis Hunter, the key question to ask is he different? Like, is this guy different? All caps, bold, underline. Because if he is, I think it's worth this kind of cost. And I think Travis Hunter is. I really do. He was one of 2 blue chip players in this class for me, Abdul Carter being the other one. And just, being able to play wide receiver and corner nearly full time in college, that alone is special. Obviously, you've got to put aside a role for him at the NFL level. You have to have a vision for him. But I think especially on the offensive side of the ball, right, that's kind of where I've pinpointed his max upside. I think he has phenomenal, tremendous upside at both receiver and cornerback, but people don't talk about his mobility profile enough. We know he has generational ball skills and playmaking ability at the catch point, right? But at 6 foot, and, under 190, so a little bit lighter. So you want him to beef up just a tiny bit more. But at his size, he is a special mover. I mean, he is explosive. He is as flexible as they come. He's agile. He's fleet-footed, twitchy. I mean, he has every single route running building block that you want, and that kind of expands to a full universal route tree. You can use him any way that you want to. You can scheme him rack passes. He can go vertical and make acrobatic plays at the catch point, and then he can dice up defenders with that bend, that explosiveness, the speed, and just the spatial IQ of knowing how to beat those guys, because he's a corner too, so he has that instinct of how to make them uncomfortable, right? I think that suits him very well. So Travis Hunter, just a really fun player, but I think, we get lost in the playmaking and we forget that, like, this is a special athlete too. And I think looking at how he kind of compliments Brian Thomas Jr. Brian Thomas Jr. obviously exceeded expectations in year one, but I think everyone agreed he did have that bona fide wide receiver one upside, right? So, he's definitely ahead of schedule there, and that's a great thing for Jacksonville because he's a big-bodied receiver who has the size and athleticism to man the boundary, but you can use him in different ways too. These are two chess pieces. I think these are two queens on the chessboard for your offense. I really do, and I think it's a force multiplier. I think it puts the defense in a bind every time. The usage for Travis Hunter, if it were me, because I'm just such a big fan of his potential as a 3-level weapon on offense, I would use him full-time on offense as a wide receiver, and then maybe on obvious passing downs, get him in there on defense where he can just use his instincts to locate the football and break on routes if he needs to. But you don't want to wear him out. You don't want to spread him too thin. But I think if there's any kind of player who can do it, it can be Travis Hunter because he's different. So the trade was a little hefty, a little bit pricey, but I think it could very well be worth it for Hunter and for a team that is getting closer to contention.
Ian Cummings, Pro Football Network, with us here on Hacker After Dark, breaking down the NFL draft. The Jaguars 9 draft picks in total. Travis Hunter, obviously the headliner. Ian, let's go after that. Caleb Ransaw from Tulane was the first of the third-round selections. A corner in college, projects, I believe, to safety in the National Football League. What is your thoughts on Ransaw?
Yeah, I think it's an interesting kind of flex piece for you at the tail end of day two. I mean, he's an elite athlete, an elite competitor. He ran a 4.33, had a 40-inch vertical, 10.9 broad jump. So not the biggest guy, 5'11", 197, almost 31-inch arms. So I think what you're getting on day one, and this pick was a little interesting to me because I didn't see a clear vision right away because obviously they signed Jordan Lewis to be their nickel defender, right? And I think that's where Caleb Ransaw would have slotted in on day one. But I also think that Ransaw, has some versatility where he did play in space and split field looks at times at Tulane. And I think just overall in general, his coverage mobility, his reactionary athleticism, the twitch, the foot speed, the ability to really recalibrate his base and just plant and drive and explode downhill at a moment's notice. And then the willingness to be physical in nickel and dime looks in the box too. Like, I think this is a guy who does play above his size, above his weight class in run support, which is something that you love to see too. So, I for the Jaguars and their personnel right now, I don't know if there's a fit for him to start right away unless they decided to shift Jordan Lewis to the boundary and put Ransaw in the slot, because I think the slot is probably his best fit on day one. But with his skill set, with his experience and his dynamic athleticism and the two-phase playmaking propensity, I do think he gives you some not universal upside, but some positional flex for sure down the line. So a fun piece to add on the late day two. I think a guy who provides that elite athletic upside that you're looking for, that raises his floor and his ceiling, but then also has the disposition, has the processing ability, and the mobility profile where you can use him from different alignments and let him go to work. So a big fan of the fit, not sure on the vision yet, but I think he's one of those guys where you can just eventually 1 or 2 years down the line, you can say, where's an area where we need to strengthen our roster? Is it nickel? Is it safety? Let's put Ransaw there and let him work. I think he can be that type of flex piece for you in the future.
Ransaw was the 88th pick in the draft. The Jaguars trade up to the 89th pick in the draft. They went back-to-back and took the big offensive lineman, the Big 12 offensive lineman of the year in Wyatt Milam. I'll tell you this, the guy's only been around Jacksonville for a handful of days, and the fans already love him. He met with the media after the draft on Friday and essentially told him, I'm paraphrasing here, that he's not going to allow anybody to touch Trevor Lawrence. I mean, he's a big, physical, nasty offensive lineman. I actually talked with his high school coach earlier this week, Ian. Remember the movie The Blind Side where Michael Oher got called for excessive blocking? I thought that was just a Hollywood thing. No, apparently that's real because Wyatt Milam got called for a couple of those in high school. His coach told me he just pile drive guys into the ground. He didn't do anything technically wrong. He just blocked them a little too long. What was your thought on Milam from West Virginia and the thought maybe that he might move inside to guard here in Jacksonville?
For sure. I think he does move to guard. I think that's ultimately what you're looking at. Because one, I mean, the frame translates 6'6.5", 313, 32-inch arms, right? So the lacking length already opened that conversation up. But also, it's not a move to reduce limitations. I think it's also a move to highlight his upside. I think he would really thrive in that environment where, as a pass blocker, you can play in a phone booth. You can, outmatch and kind of dominate the guy across from you. And then as a guard in the run game too, I do think he is athletic enough to do some short pulls, maybe not an elite mover in zone, full field mover, but a guy who can operate pulls and gap runs if you need him to. He's got some schematic versatility as well. So, but yeah, I mean, you mentioned it. I think the prime selling point with him is that mentality. I mean, he's a guy that the trenches, that's a physical game. You have to match up to that. And if you don't, you're going to get washed out, right? And I think Wyatt Milam is a definite tone setter. I mean, he's a guy who will reach contact first. He will take authority at contact, and not just with the physicality and the tenacity, not just the mentality, but at his size, he's a big dude. He's got heavy hands and he's got really good rotational torque in his hips. So he makes contact and he can extend and drive through and really displace guys off the line, whether it's with those punches or extensions and anchors. Like, he's the full package there. So a big fan of the pick. I actually would have considered taking him in round 2. There were a lot of mock drafts that I had where it was maybe the Lions or the Eagles picking him in that 60 to 64 range. I would have considered him that early. So I think the Jaguars getting him this late is just a coup in terms of value. I think an additional round off of what I had in my big board. And then theoretically, a starting lineup of Walker Little, Wyatt Milam, if he eventually takes Ezra Cleveland's place. I think the best thing that the Jaguars could ask to have is flexibility and options. They definitely have that. But I definitely foresee Milam. I kind of shift places on which it is, but I think he can become a long-term starter down the line for sure, and shuffle in pretty early on in his career. And then a starting lineup of Little, Milam, Hainsey, Makari, Harrison, like, that's pretty solid. And they've got Jonah Monheim waiting in the wings as a potential developmental center too. My vocal cords, man, my talking ability after this past weekend is completely shot. But to summate, in summary, I really like the pick. It was a phenomenal value, and I think he gives flexibility, but ultimately projects as a high impact starter at guard.
Final moments with Ian Cummings of Pro Football Network. All right, so running back position. We know what Bucky Irving did in Liam Cohen's offense in Tampa last year. The Jaguars take 2 running backs, one in round 4, one in round 7. Tootin, the running back from Virginia Tech, was one of, if not the fastest running backs in the draft. Also, LaQuint Allen out of Syracuse looks like he has some upside as well in round 7. What was your take on the 2 running backs?
Yeah, great value for both. LaQuint Allen in particular, I had him as more of an early day 3 guy, and they got him in round 7, so that was a phenomenal pick. I think LaQuint Allen is going to be your third down back. He's a great pass blocker, and he's actually a former wide receiver who has probably one of the best route trees in this RB class. I mean, you can use him in a variety of different ways, angle routes, swings, but you can also split him out into the slot off motions if you need to. So he's kind of a leggy runner. He's not nearly as explosive or as fast as Bashal Tootin, and that's, kind of where Tootin is different in that regard. But I think there's a really easy projection for LaQuint Allen if you want to get him out there on third downs. You don't have to worry about him protecting Trevor Lawrence. He's going to do his job. He's going to, be physical and be authoritative and disciplined with his technique. And then he's a great receiving threat too. So I think he can be a really good rotational presence. And then Bashal Tootin, man, I mean, the explosiveness, the contact balance as well, being 5'9". He weighed in at 206 at the NFL Combine. I think he'll probably play over 210. So this is a dense, rocked up dude who's low to the ground, but then has 4.32 speed, 40.5-inch vertical, 10.10 broad jump. His explosion, his speed, his dynamic ability is a true home run threat. Like, it's different. Like, you can see on tape too, not even when he's just stretching seams and creating big plays, when he's getting the ball and going up those lanes, like, his explosiveness, his ability to accelerate just off of one single step, it is truly extraordinary. So I think the vision, the creative instincts, he's not the most instinctive creator. I think he's probably more of a, step and go back when it comes to just finding his lanes and getting upfield. But that there is a value and a definite function with that kind of skill set. And I think if he can grow as a creator a little bit, you could be looking at a future starter. But right away, I think he's a great change of pace back, a spark plug for this rotation. And with the future uncertainty that comes from Travis Etienne and Tank Bigsby, I think Bashal Tutin, with more growth and development on the instinctive side, because there are times where, he won't press and cut off of that pressing effectively. I still think he's learning how to press second level defenders and create space for himself off of those motions. But he's explosive. He can be very efficient getting upfield, and he's got the contact balance and the physicality that you would want from a back with that kind of build. So a big fan of the fit. I know Liam Cohen and James Gladstone were really excited to get him. So I imagine they already have a vision for how they're going to work him into the scheme and the offensive system. So it'll be fun.
Ian, as we begin to wrap up, of the other picks, whether it was Jack Kaiser, Jalen McLeod, Rayon Lane out of Navy, you mentioned Jonah Monheim out of USC, any of those guys stand out to you?
Yeah, for sure. I think Rayon Lane has really good coverage mobility. He's pretty fluid for his size, but was a pretty prolific playmaker in his time at Navy. So right away, it gives you depth and special teams utility, which that's never a bad thing. Jalen McLeod caught my eye as early as his days at Appalachian State, I believe. He was there before he transferred to Auburn. 6'2", 240, 32-inch arms. So he's probably going to be a pass rush specialist as a linebacker, and then again, maybe some special teams work. But he's got a hot motor, man. So I think if you can get him out there as a DPR, designated pass rusher, he could do some work in that role. And then Jonah Monheim, I know the shorter arms are going to be a big concern with him for his developmental potential, but I do think he's fairly athletic, fairly flexible when it comes to leverage acquisition, and he's got experience across the line, all 5 spots, right? So I think there, again, great depth, which on day 3 is really all you can ask for. And then finally, Jack Kaiser. I don't know what the long-term vision is for him there. I know they have some contract decisions to make at the linebacker position. I don't see elite upside with him, but because he's a little bit smaller, but he's a very good athlete. I think he's pretty solid and sound in coverage, instinctive, and then he's a great tackler too. He converts really well. So he's kind of a low ceiling type of guy relative to other players, but a high floor player who could eventually be a solid starter for you. So I think those 4 picks on day 3, you're really going for depth, special teams utility, and starting upside, and I think all of them check the box there.
All right, Ian, not to put words in your mouth, but as we say goodbye, it seems like you're pretty high on what the Jaguars did. What kind of grade did you give them?
I'd probably give them an A- or so. I think losing the first round pick next year definitely hurts, right? But you're not going to get any complaints from me if you get a player like Travis Hunter at the other end of the deal. Some of the picks that the immediate vision for me, I'm still waiting for them to, prove it, right? You pick a player, prove it that it was the right call. I think Caleb Bransaw, what they do with him, I'll be watching that. Bashal Tutin, I had a few running backs with higher grades at that point because I still want him to improve his creative instincts, but he's a spark plug, a dynamic player at the running back position, and then Jack Kaiser as well. So, overall, there were some instances where maybe I would have made a different pick, but I think they came away with a really good class and a few instant impact players as well.
Ian Cummings, Pro Football Network. Ian, you've been so gracious with your time the last couple of months. Thank you as always, pal. It'll be the 2026 draft before we look. And by the way, the Jaguars did lose that first-round pick. I thought they got a steal in that trade with Detroit. They have 3 third-rounders now next year with their second-rounder. I thought under the circumstances, Gladstone kind of replenished next year's draft class with that trade with Detroit.
Yeah, for sure. And I think first-round capital is obviously the most valuable, and there's no guarantee that next year's class is going to have quite as much depth as this year's did. I think it very well could, just off of initial viewings. I'm pretty high on the class as a whole. I think there's a ton of talent to sift through. But, again, that's a conversation for a long time in the future. Bottom line is, if you do lose a first-rounder, it's a good consolation to get a couple day 2 picks back, and maybe they could leverage that into a trade-up down the line. I mean, we'll see. But they have some flexibility to work with, and I think the roster is in a good enough spot where, unlike the Falcons, I think the Jaguars, you look at the 2 teams that traded away their first rounder next year, I think the Jaguars are in a much better situation than the Falcons are relative to that. So I'm looking forward to see what James Gladstone and Liam Cohen do with this group. I think, Jaguars fans especially have been waiting for some semblance of sustained success for a long time. I'm hoping this is what brings them there, because I think the roster is pretty talented on both sides of the ball, and Trevor Lawrence may finally be in a position to succeed, and not just succeed because he's been successful in spurts, but I think truly reach his ceiling.
Ian Cummings of Pro Football Network. Ian, again, thank you so much, man. We'll talk again soon.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Agger.
And thank you to Ian Cummings, Pro Football Network, for joining us tonight here on Hacker After Dark. Boy, Ian's been so good to us the entire draft process. Really appreciate him joining us tonight to recap what the Jaguars did over this past weekend as Jacksonville, 9 draft picks in total, including the headliner, of course, of Travis Hunter Jr. And look, the bottom line is for the Jaguars, you look at what they've done. Are they a better football team now than they were in January? Yeah, absolutely. I think so. You got 11 free agents they've added. Now these 9 draft picks, including Travis Hunter. I think there's a lot of excitement now about what James Gladstone, Liam Cohen, and Tony Baselli have done in year number 1 on the job here with the Jacksonville Jaguars. Well, that will just about do it, man. We have a ton of people to thank for tonight's broadcast. It was a very, very busy Tuesday night edition of Hacker After Dark. Again, Ian Cummings of Pro Football Network. Always appreciate Ian taking time out for us. Thank you to Jeff Nixon, the offensive coordinator of Syracuse, for joining us tonight to talk about Jaguars 7th-round running back LaQuint Allen. Likewise, John Summerall, the head coach of Tulane, stopped by the program to talk about Jaguar 3rd-round pick Caleb Ransaw. And we also went to Blacksburg, Virginia. Head coach Brent Pry of the Virginia Tech Hokies stopped by to talk about 4th-round pick, the running back, Basal Tootin. Tootin's a guy was the fastest running back at the Combine, ran a 4.32. A lot of excitement about Tootin and what he could become here. Maybe the next Bucky Irving in Liam Cohen's offense. We'll have to wait and see. And back in hour number 1, my buddy Michael Silver of The Athletic. He had a terrific behind-the-scenes look inside the Jaguar War Room as Michael was here all weekend. That story came out this morning. I can't recommend it enough at The Athletic. Really gives you an in-depth look at James Gladstone, Liam Cohen, and Tony Baselli, the trades that were made, including the Travis Hunter trade. Jaguar fans, go check out Michael Silver's piece there at The Athletic as he was given unprecedented access into the Jaguar War Room down at the Miller Electric Center all weekend long. Well, that will just about do it, man. Really appreciate you guys joining us tonight here on Hacker After Dark. Now, we'll be back tomorrow night on a Wednesday, and we will do it all over again beginning at 8 o'clock. Dylan Denmark was your producer tonight. Dylan, great job as always. I'm the Hacker Ryan Green. And again, Jacksonville, thank you for spending part of your Tuesday evening with us right here on Hacker After Dark on 1010XL and on 92.5 FM. So for all of us here on HAD, have an absolutely terrific remainder of your Tuesday evening, and we will talk to you again tomorrow night on a Wednesday beginning at 8 o'clock. Until then, good night, Jacksonville.
This station is now the ultimate power in the universe.
1010XL.
I suggest we use it.
Jacksonville Sports Empire.
It is your destiny.